Hey guys, and welcome to my video review of Transformers Age of Extinction Voyager Class Drift. Now this is the helicopter mode of Drift. In the movie, he appeared as both a Bugatti and a helicopter. The helicopter didn't look quite like this. The tail was a little bit different, as well as the wings. The main body was kind of the same. I mean, it's a helicopter. There's not a whole lot of variation in what's there. Like, obviously there are the blades, the little wing bits, and then the tail. It looks a little bit different in the movie, but I'm not going to complain. At least they gave us the helicopter mode. I thought we were going to be stuck with just the deluxe class Bugatti. Bugatti Veyron, I think is what it's called. But yeah, this is the helicopter, and I like it. This uses the, what's it called? Dark of the Moon Skyhammer, I think was the name. Dark of the Moon Voyager Skyhammer. That was a mold from the third movie, but they repurposed the mold to make Drift. And before, Skyhammer was not an official character, so that mold, which I really liked, getting a official character use, meaning it was used again, and in my opinion it was used better here, much better here. So that makes me happy. That makes me very happy. So here in the helicopter mode, you can see his storage here on the wings. They don't really have any official storage place, but there are little tabs there on the bottom that I just put in those holes there. Like I said, it's not official, but I do stick them there, you know, just to give it some place to store, because otherwise you're just left with these two blades, or if you put them together, one big blade just sitting there. And I'm not a fan of that, so there you go. He's got some landing gear here. I'm going to go ahead and flip that up. Folds forwards. I like it. I really dig this helicopter mode. It's sturdy, it's solid. Got nice detailing all in it, molded detailing. It's got some decent paint apps with the light blue, the dark blue. There's not a whole lot of variation in kind of paint apps, but the fact that there are this many at least breaks up the color. So there's the brownish gold molded plastic, the blue, or the dark blue, as well as the light blue in there. And some black, very, very small amounts, like on the blades. But it's nice. I do really enjoy this mode. Got these little missile pods here. You can leave them on or take them off. I like to take them off. It makes transformation a little bit easier. And also in the movie, I don't think he had missile pods, so that makes it just slightly more accurate to the movie, but not a whole lot. The blades spin. Mine are a little loose. Nothing major. It actually helps them spin better, so I'm okay with that, if anything. So no major complaints here. It's really solid though. No kibble underneath. It's just a really solid, good-looking figure. For some size comparison, let me get Hound in here. Voyager Hound from Age of Extinction. So you can kind of see here. Let's put him on top. Drift is quite a bit longer, but he equals out fairly well because he's not as wide, and he's a little bit thinner overall. Just all around a little bit thinner, but longer. So he's a typical Voyager size. I like it though that he's a little bit larger of a helicopter instead of smushed down a bit. Like, say, I don't know, Generations Whirl, for example. He's a little bit more smushed down. This guy is a little bit longer. I like that. And it fits the character well, I think. If Drift were to be a helicopter, it'd be kind of a long, slender, fast-moving helicopter like this. Like he was in the movie, but he was not this model of helicopter. I don't know what model of helicopter this is at all. But yeah, there's the spinning blades, the red Autobot logos, as well as the colors I already went over, and that's about it for the vehicle mode. So actually, let's just get straight into the transformation. So for the transformation, the first thing I like to do is just take the wings and fold them down. You come back here and you just pull this whole tail assembly out. There are two peg holes there and two pegs. You just pop them down. And then I like to take this and unfold those just to give a little bit more motion for the next step, which is you come under here and you pull this up. This will become part of the torso and then the waist. So these are the legs. These will become the arms. So what I like to do next is then unpeg the tail, just like so. Rotate, fold down there, and then fold forwards there. And that becomes his knee. Fold down, fold forwards, rotate. So there you have the legs, pretty much transformed. Now you just have to do the feet, and for that you flip on this one foot. You flip the tail fin in like that, and then you fold this up, and then there's that little piece of plastic there that pushes the heel out, and you want to pull the heel all the way down and peg that in, and then flip this to the side. Bring the toe forward, bring the heel spur back a little bit, and there you have one foot. And you do the exact same thing on this side, except there's no upper tail fin, so you just fold this back, pull the toe out, flip this to the side, adjust the feet. And then there are these little bits right here that pop out during transformation, and you can just either pull them out all the way, which is what I like to do, or you can leave them kind of just sitting a little bit deeper in. And there you have the legs. Then for what will be the arms, first thing you actually need to do there is get this little wing backpack out of the way. Just fold it down, get that out of the way. And then these things I unpegged earlier, you bring them down, just like so. And then right here, get under there. I have to use my nail. Get the fists out. There we go. And then this kind of just collapses in on itself. You just kind of wiggle it in, and it collapses in. Closes up the forearm, not leaving any gaps in the mold. Then you separate right here. You separate the cockpit. Bring it down to the sides. One there, and then you flip this bit right here forwards, such as that, and then you rotate backwards, and then you'll see this little piece right here, fold it down, that kind of becomes part of the shoulder pad, and then you take this middle chest piece and you just rotate it clockwise, and rotate the arms forward a little bit, just like that. And you can see it's starting to form there, And then what you do next is come back here to the back, and you'll see these little pegs right there on the back. You can kind of see them. What you need to do is get this angled to where they peg in, pretty much. So you need to flip it like this, and you fold this down. This kind of just collapses down. It's a little bit difficult just because there's not a lot of clearance for these wings. You kind of just do it like that, where it's like that, and then you get this angled correctly. It just tabs in, and you bring these wings down all the way. And then there are little holes there and pegs there. Pegs right in, and there you've got that little back wing assembly taken care of. And then the last step is the propeller. There are two very small holes. I don't know if you can see them in there. Very, very small, just above the goldish brown plastic. There are two little pegs that you can see there. Just line them up, just like that, and you fold this back. And then there's a little tab hole right there and a tab. It just clips onto the little wing backpack. If you can get it angled right, come on. There we go, just like that. One on top of the wings, you can see it there, and then another tab. Just goes right into place. Do it on this side. Just like that. And then one last one, fourth blade, and there you go. And once you've done that, you have your Voyager Drift in his robot mode. Now when it comes to Drift's accessories, you have a few options. These little missile pods that we removed earlier, they can either soar back on the wings as they were before, or you can do what I like to do and put them on his forearms, giving him just some more weapons on his robot mode, which I like, because then you can get in there and it's like he has guns on his arms. Those also look like guns, kind of, but it just gives him more variety. It gives him a more bulky, but not like too heavy looking. It just kind of beefs him up a bit, makes him look like a more intimidating warrior. And then you have two options for these swords. You can either have them separate like this, or you can put them together like this, and you can have one bigger sword. The bigger sword looks okay, but I don't know, it seems a bit thick, so I much prefer having him with two different swords. And to put those in his hand, it's really simple. It's kind of curved there. As you can see, it's kind of curved. So all you do is you put the curved part in and then just kind of rotate it inwards. And then you push, and mine are a little tight. Not too tight, but a little tight. You got one sword in, and do the other one. Just like that, push it in, and there you go. Now Drift is holding his two swords. He looks like a swordsman, and it's quite cool looking. I like that. It looks pretty awesome. I really like this figure. His robot mode is even cooler than the helicopter mode, I think. Now, his robot mode's not very movie accurate, which it can't really be helped considering it's using an old mold, I should say, Skyhammer's mold. So that takes away a little bit on the movie accuracy. Paint app wise and like just colors and everything, and head mold even, it's quite movie accurate. So I will give him that. He's partially movie accurate, I guess is what you could say. Let's get a little bit of size comparison going on here. Here he is next to the deluxe class version of Drift. As you can see, he towers above him, so he doesn't really fit in scale with his other version of himself. And then here he is next to Evasion Mode Optimus. So he's shorter than Optimus, which is correct. He should be a little bit shorter. So this is actually pretty in scale. Maybe maybe between the height of those two would be the perfect scale for Drift. But it's not that bad because he is shorter than Optimus, so at least that part's there. But let's get a little bit more focus on these two guys here, just side by side. As you can see, I like having the two different swords because it kind of matches over there. The one thing I don't like is how in the movie, in his robot mode, he looks like this. So, I mean, paint app wise and just design wise, the color wise, it's very similar. But mold wise, like the detailing, like he doesn't have any of his samurai armor on here. I wish they remolded him a bit more than just the head and gave him maybe instead of missile pods there, or like maybe just the side of this, it had a little bit more of that kind of like samurai armor. Or instead of these little missile pods, he just has more blades that stick up off the back like that. And they remolded that centerpiece to make it look more like the fake grill. But who knows? Maybe eventually a third-party company will make some add-ons that make the Voyager look more like the Deluxe in robot mode. I'd be perfectly okay with that. Maybe put some wheels on him, just some stuff you can add on. I'd be perfectly fine with that. But that's not to say that this is a bad figure. I really do love this figure. This is probably the second best movie figure from Age of Extinction. The first being, I still think that Slog, Voyager Slog, is my favorite. This guy, though, is a very, very close second. The only reason he's not number one is because it's a reused mold. I've seen it before, so it doesn't have that wow factor of a new figure. It's just, oh, that's a really, really good repaint and slight remold. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely good. It's definitely good, just not as good as it could be. But then again, no figure really is as good as it could be. So let's get to the articulation now. There's a little bit of swivel in the shoulder. It rotates at the bicep. It can also move. It's hinged there as well. Bends at the elbow. The wrist has a little bit of swivel due to the transformation. The head can rotate 360 degrees, look up and down a little bit. The waist can rotate 360 degrees as well. The legs can go out and in, forwards and back, bend at the knee, and then the toes and the heels have a little bit of swivel, just a little bit. You can get them angled different ways. So he has good posability. He has all the joints he needs in the right places, at least for this figure. So you can get some really cool battle poses with him. I like it. It's fancy. It's good. Though, again, it's a remold, so nothing too new. But at least it's a main character getting this mold. So yeah, there's that. Let's get a little bit of close-up, actually, just so you can see the detailing on this guy a bit better. So as you can see here, he does have a decent amount of molded detailing in there. It's just lots of little intricate parts, really. They're on the propeller, or not the propeller, the blades. They're on his head. Looks really cool. I love the head mold. There's a little bit of blue there on his eyes. It's that light blue that's pretty much everywhere else on the figure. He's got his little blue goatee, his samurai helmet. It's a really nice head mold. It's pretty much the exact same as the deluxe version, just more paint apps. So that's cool. There in the swords, you can see a little bit of molded detailing there is, right in there. It's just a little bit. The rest of the figure, his arms, forearms, the missile launchers, just everything. pretty good detailing on this guy. Like I said, he's a really well done figure. It's just, it's not a new figure, it's a remold. So it just still doesn't have that wow factor to me. But yet again, I'll say, just because it doesn't have that doesn't mean that it's not a good figure. This figure, as you can obviously see here, is really, really well done. So, like I've said quite a few times now, I really like this figure. I said earlier, he's the second best figure in the Age of Extinction line, at least in my opinion. So I highly recommend that you pick this guy up. I love the character Drift, and this is just a good figure with a good character. It's a good combination. It's not necessarily the most movie accurate, but that's the only downside, is that it's not completely movie accurate. Other than that, fantastic figure. And even if you have Skyhammer, I recommend picking this guy up. He would be a nice addition to pretty much any collection. So that's it for this review. That has been Voyager Drift. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next review.